Yes, and we are live, and it is great to be here and great to have you, Amy. Good to have you with us on board.
No
Thanks for
problem at
keeping
all.
an eye on everything. Yes, thanks for keeping an eye on everything in the background and all of your support during this, well, going live on LinkedIn. And I know you'll be watching the chat window in the background, so fantastic. Thank you so much, Amy. Great to have you, like I say. Well, first of all, we're going to be talking about corporate data telling today. Corporate data telling. It's an incredible area. And when we're doing this and when we're delivering our communications and delivering corporate data telling, I would love for you to please open up the chat window. Make sure that you have an area that you have a pen in your hand. So grab a pen, get yourself ready, grab that pen. And don't forget to connect into the chat window and keep it on board, keep an eye and tell us, well, keep asking us those questions as you come on board with us on this journey. I'd love to know where all of you are joining us from. Amy, where are you joining me from?
From Dublin, Ireland.
Yes, of course. Keep an eye on the chat window. Anybody that's chatting with us, we'd love to know where you're joining us from. The key to data is that data doesn't have a voice. Data needs a storyteller. And for us, as we get this cognitive overload of information constantly traveling through the ethernet, through the internet, into our head, we're constantly being distracted. And so when we're presenting information and presenting this data, then we've got to be able to know that there are going to be challenges on the way. And those challenges keep us from informing people, they keep us from directing people, and also inspiring people to action. So, Amy, we know there's a lot. The data, is our data going live on LinkedIn?
I'm not quite sure at the moment. It doesn't seem to be.
Make sure you refresh your screen and make sure that that browser is up and running and that we can get there. Anyway, the data for us, we've got to make sure what makes presenting data so challenging. The keys are a lot of our audience don't know the way. They don't know how to simplify. It's they don't know where we're going. And that's a challenge for them. And when you think about it, what makes data challenging? Well, we're subject matter experts in our field and we're giving information and we're supposed to present to the novice. Supposed to present to that novice. And when we don't, the information becomes a struggle for them. And why do people struggle with the data? Because they don't understand and they don't get the benefits and they see the risks associated with change. So within this webinar, which is our first streamed through using Restream and also through LinkedIn Live, we are going to look at these following learning topics. One, connecting and engaging with your audience. Connecting and engaging with your audience. Then, after that, how to turn data into vibrant content. And then, after that, we're going to look at the fundamentals of delivering structures to that audience. The fundamentals to actually delivering a message. And that's where storytelling comes in. So, how do we prepare? I want you to think about one, how can you prepare for a data presentation? Successful data presentations begin with you stepping inside the audience, their shoes, stepping in, putting yourself into their world. And then the goal. What is your primary goal? Habit number 2 of the 7 habits of highly effective people is to begin with the end in mind. So, 1, step inside the audience's shoes, and 2, what's your goal? You've got to begin with the end in mind. Before you even start there, I would highly recommend that you write down. Don't tell people everything that you know. Tell them what they need to know. Tell the people what they need to know. And this is a great quote by Jerry Wiseman. He was the script writer for Barack Obama. Tell the audience what they need to know, not everything that you know, because you are the subject matter expert on the data, and they should be considered the novice with the information you're about to present to them. You see, there are 6 phases within data science and analytics. There are 6 phases. 1, understanding the problem. 2, taking that data, wrangling that data. 3, analyze the data. 4, generate a hypothesis. 5 is to conduct the analysis. And then lastly, this is where we're focusing in this program, in this webinar, and all of our programs focus on the communication of results. So you've got these 6 phases, and it would take you your knowledge, years of knowledge, from phase 1 to phase 5, all of the skills. Now we're going to talk about the results. And within the results, we zoom into the presenting of the data goals. So remember, I was talking to you about you got to know your audience. Let's start off with your goal. You got to know what you're trying to achieve before you start building your presentation. And so when you think about this, what's your communicating results? So you're communicating results. 1, are you descriptive? Are you describing or diagnosing? 1, are you giving a project update? Or are you talking about the project status? That's descriptive. 2, are you diagnosing the information? So is that your goal, where you've got the information from your quarterly business review or your project testing results? Are you taking those results and then are you giving them back to the actual interpreting the data? Or maybe you're being predictive. You're going into predicting the future and you're talking to your audience, making recommendations based on your analysis. This is a recommended goal. And then after that, are you influencing them? So which goal is it for you? Now, you may start off being descriptive, and then after that, you might end up being prescriptive. So you might start off with 1, but the first 2 phases of this, they are enabling change for the audience. The second 2 with prescriptive and predictive, that those predictive and prescriptive, they're promoting change. And those goals require for you to have a messaging structure that helps the audience to untangle this data. Make sure that you don't have cognitive overload for them. So let's look at proper preparation. For the audience, thinking, where are we going? And then for you, who's going with me? So let's look at proper preparation. That's part number 1. Proper preparation. When you think about proper preparation, you want to know your audience. And I talked about stepping inside their shoes. Step inside their shoes. So you have your goal. You're stepping inside their shoes. 1, who are they? Make sure you're writing this down. Who are they? As you're communicating with them, who are they? Write down who they are, what they are expecting. Are they novices or are they experts? Who are they? Get to know your audience. Write down who they are. 2, what do they already know about the information that you're presenting? What do they already know about what you're about to present? And then, how do they feel? How do they feel about this information? Do they feel concerned? Do they feel anxious? Do they feel inspired? How do they already feel? Maybe how do you want them to feel? And then lastly, more importantly, is what do they speak? When I say what do they speak, what's their language? When you think about what do they speak, are they from the technical department and you're from sales? Or are they from the legal department? What's their language? Because you got to know your audience and you got to understand what do they speak. Their language requires for you to either translate, so you're where you have translation from their legal while you're in sales, from your language to their language, and to make it meaningful and understanding. Maybe you're in technology and they're in finance, so you're translating from a technology language to a financial language. Or relate, whereby you're in finance and they're in finance, and you're relating the information to them. That requires for you to simply relate it because they're already potentially at your level. Maybe you're the subject matter expert and they're not, they're your peer, and you're relating, and it's the same data set, the same data language. So tech, what they speak, their language that they speak, won't be the same and equal to your language. So you got to be able to translate or relate. And how can we achieve that? And how can we get understanding of that? Well, we've got to create understanding through engagement. And there are tools for us to do that as we communicate with others. The tools to untangle and connect with the audience. These tools help to create understanding and engagement for them. So if I said to you, okay, we're going to lift 61 kilos. Amy, I'm going to say to you, we're going to lift 61 kilograms, okay? Now, if I convert it, and I convert it to, say, it's approximately 135 pounds. So initially I said to you, 61 kilos, we're going to lift it, all right?
Yep.
What are you thinking in your head? So it's 135 pounds if you're in America. What do you think?
It's heavy.
It's heavy, yeah. But you'll only know what it feels like when you actually lift it. And that's what we mean about untangling and connecting with your audience. Because the data of 61 kilos or 135 pounds, it doesn't mean it's heavy. Yeah, but you'll only know about it. Oh, by the way, have you lifted 61 kilos, Amy?
Probably not.
And I haven't either. Well done, Amy. All right. So we'll only know by the way in which we actually, the feelings that we leave with them. They have to feel this information. And once they feel it, then your goals will be met when they feel it. Your goals will be met because they'll translate it and they get to understand what you're saying because they feel it. They might feel the urgency or the impact of what the repercussions are from the data that you're presenting to them. But if they won't feel it, they just say it's numbers. And data, it doesn't have a soul. It needs a storyteller. It doesn't have a soul. Stories give data soul. And so do other areas that, and what we're looking at is conversion and impact. Tools to help the audience create understanding and engaging so they feel it. Because if the data part of your presentation is an understanding of what this means, what it is, and how you can understand it, what it is. But engaging with information creates a so what, the feelings. So your data is knowledge, logic, it's needed, but the feelings are the so what that create change. And we do that, we have areas that will help you in our programs, but also today. You want to be looking at delivering both conversions so that they understand and metaphors so that they understand what the data means. Because if they are in a different department to you, then you need to simplify the complexity of the information by using conversions so they understand the what it means, and then zooming and scale to the so what, the feelings of what this means. I'm going to give you some examples. Amy, I have to bring you back in here again.
Of
If
course.
I, if I said to you, Amy, I'm going to give you a simple conversion. Okay, so conversions means the what. Conversions means the data. Okay. Now, if I said to you, this information is 14 inches plus 18 centimeters equals 8 centimeters, not 18. What does that equal? What's the first thing you need to know? What's the first thing you need to know in order to tell me the total amount of centimeters?
You need to convert the 14 into centimeters.
Correct. So we need to know what an inch is. Now, if I tell you an inch, okay, equals 2.54 centimeters. Now, you're going to go into cognitive overload and you're going to go, what's this? We can't have the audience. By the way, do you know what it is in total?
No.
Not a whole. No, that's what the answer is. So what we want to do is give them the equation, give them the actual information, not because one language, the inches might represent finance, where you are from, and the centimeters might represent sales, where they're from. And that's two data sets. And you've got to have a conversion. And that's what we need. Amy, I thought you would have got that. Yeah, thank you, Amy. And so, what are the standard conversions? Well, the standard conversions are days. Conversion examples would be days, days of time. That would be important to the project managers. Hours, they would also be important to the distribution team. Revenue, the actual project revenue, if we're talking about a project, is 5 days delayed. 5 days. That's 120 hours of our project. Now we are off scope. We need to realign. If we keep on doing this at the end of our project, that's going to cost the project loss of €3,600. That's 0.3% of the budget assigned. And if you're in sales, you're going to lose a bonus of 1,000. You're going to lose the bonus of 1,000. And so there are common conversions. These are examples of some of them, but I'm going to bring back in Amy again. Amy.
Yeah.
When you're going and you're traveling, now I know that you're going away to Amsterdam, and that will be in September. But just say, for argument's sake, you were joining Nicole, who's currently she's in Thailand. Thailand doesn't have the same conversion currency as where we are. So when you're traveling, that's a standard conversion. Can you give me any other conversions that you would use or anybody would use? What's a regular conversion, like currency conversions? Any thoughts on what that might be?
There's the currency conversions. You have, as you said, kilograms, pounds.
Yeah,
So there's a lot.
there is a huge amount. We have conversions from weight, we have conversions in different areas, conversions in land mass, conversions in so many. But we also have conversions in time. And so you've got to think Thank you, Amy. And by the way, you're not going to Thailand, okay?
No.
The key is that the conversions are from your language to theirs. Conversions, using to simplify their understanding. And that's when we use conversion. The other one that we can use is metaphors. Metaphors are like stories. Metaphorical communications are so empowering. They're so simple, and we're using them all the time. The key is metaphors make the what more memorable. More memorable. Conversions, they're not as memorable. They're simplified because if I said to Amy, the conversion from euro into baht, that's a different currency, or euro into dollar. It's a conversion, but metaphors live in the area of story. And so if I said to you that a network, the infrastructure, without a firewall is like a house with no walls. Amy, that's a house with no walls. Okay, I want you to think about that for a second. A house with no
Mhm.
walls. The good news is you never have to worry about being locked out of the house. The bad news is you've no privacy. In your mind, what's the picture in your mind of the house? What type of a house is it?
It has stuff and it has a ground.
It has stuff and has a ground. Well, it has stuff and has a ground. But what kind of pictures are popping into your head?
A open plan,
Yeah.
outdoor, indoor.
Okay, so is it this picture?
Yeah.
No, it is. My God. Well, whatever you were thinking about, it's possibly different to what I was thinking about. This is not an image. I would have a bungalow. I would have had different areas, different color schemes. This is completely different from what you would have had, maybe in your mind. And so, how do we build conversions, or how do we build metaphors? One, you got to describe the point or the situation. Describe the situation, the point. You could be talking about servers. The server can process the data quickly. The server can, but the firewall can't feed it through the network fast enough. And then then bring a similar or familiar topic that's universal to everybody. Universal, that you share, that might be the same in a relationship. The same issue. It's like when you're going to board a plane, there's a gate, not everybody can get through and board the plane, or the train can handle a large numbers of passengers, but there's only one security guard, one security gate, or when you're going to the plane, two security gates with hundreds of people before. So the checkpoint or the checkout can't get through. That's the same as the data going through our infrastructure firewall. Can't go through quick as the data coming into us. So a pro tip is to think about a situation or a thing that's commonly known to your audience. Remember that depending on where they're from. We were thinking about from hailstones, okay? If I said the hailstones were falling, Amy, the hailstones were falling and they were 13 millimeters. Now, 13 millimeters. What do you think in your mind? 13 millimeters.
I don't know.
13 millimeters. Well, they're first of all 13 millimeters. If I said to you it was a marble,
Then I
how
would
you know
understand.
straight away, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
It's a marble. If I said 40 millimeters, what are you thinking?
A golf ball?
You are bang on. 72. The hailstones were 72 millimeters. Now, the millimeters don't mean anything to you, but when I say a golf ball, whoa, they're big. 72. What are you thinking?
Tennis ball.
You're not far off. I was just about to say a slitter. But if I was in America, first of all, I'd say yes, a marble, a golf ball, but I wouldn't use a slitter. I would use a baseball. But in order to show the damage that this caused in my car, say, Amy, I wasn't able to make it on time to our session. I wasn't able to make it to this live recording on LinkedIn because of the hailstones. They were 73 millimeters. They were the size of actual baseball slitters, like slitters or baseballs. What are you thinking to yourself?
It's a good bit of damage.
Well, now if I showed you my car, you'd go, wow, look at the damage, because you feel it now. You feel it. Okay, thank you, Amy. Hopefully there's no hailstones over the weekend. So that's when we use metaphors. Metaphors leave a lasting feeling. I highly recommend and use those metaphors. Excellent metaphors will make it so much simpler for your data to connect with the audience. We can use zooming, and zooming can be zooming in and zooming out. If we're talking to the UK, an audience in the UK, the tax take expense in the UK is 22 million. 22 million is a big number. But if we said that it is, however, that is only 15, that's 15 or 17 pence. So that's actually 32 pence per citizen. And that's 65 million people. That's 32p. It's not so big when you think about it. So 32p, as opposed, it feels different to the audience. If I said the tax take in America is 54 million, that's a massive number. We've got to zoom in on that. There's 360 million Americans. That's 15 cents. Now, that's zooming in, big numbers to little numbers. Let's look at a big number that you want to save. I want to ask Amy, if you were thinking of cutting something out of your life that you could cut out per week in order for you to save 234 euro per year, okay? 234 euro per year. I want you to think about this. What's the first thing that you would cut out that would save you about 425 to 450 per week?
A coffee once a week.
No way. Did you say coffee? It's a universal truth. It's the coffee. You got it in one. It is coffee. So yeah, we can cut out that. That would be a saving to us. So we're going from big number to small. We go from a large number. Thank you, Amy. You need to stop drinking the coffee or drink decaf. And so when we think about this, we're looking at how can we save from small to big? Saving, if we have, say we have 58,000 employees, and we are looking at, over a 10-year period, the total budget we need for digital marketing. With 58,000, we are going to look at, per employee, spending €2 per employee per day equals 42,705,000. That's going from small, €2 per day per employee over a 10-year plan. That's our digital marketing for the next 10 years. That's colossal. That's going from small to large, zooming in and zooming out. And so we'll use scale models. That's the so what. We've talked about the what, which is knowledge, whereby we are delivering something that has a huge amount, either small amounts and large amounts, to help them understand what. Scale is about so what. If the population in Ireland was 100 people, population in Ireland was 100 people, how many of those people, Amy, how many of those people would earn 400,000 a year? Any idea?
That's tough.
Yes, it's tough. That's why I'm asking you.
Not a lot. Not a lot.
Yeah, give me a number.
1.
You are not far wrong. 2 people. Instead of me, now I'm getting into the, first of all, what we're doing is we're talking about this area of scale. When we simplify it, and I say 2 people in every 100 are earning 400,000 a year, then you feel it. If the actual size of Ireland was down to 100 people, 2 people or 1.8% of those people would earn 400,000. I feel pretty good with my salary now. Or you feel bad. Amy, how do you feel?
Okay.
We're in the 100s then. So instead of saying 1.8% of people or earn 400,000, use the scale model. And the scale models they can be time, days, volume, distance, money. Scale, I talk to you about conversion metaphors, the scaling. I've given you samples of scaling that will support the 4 engaging areas. The first 2 help, conversions and metaphors, help the what, the thinking and knowledge to simplify in their language, and the zooming and scales, the so what, are for feelings. Now, successful presentations will be judged not by the knowledge you send, but the list what they receive, the listener receives. Why do people change? It's simple. They change because of the need, and they're motivated by that need. And so you've got to understand the goal, as we talked about earlier. Are you informing them, interpreting, recommending, or influencing? Meaning, are you enabling change or recommending that change? Then you need to have a message model. And that's where the messaging model and how we finish today's session. You need a messaging model. I'm going to share 2 of the 4. The good. If you are describing a project status, we recommend that this description has a story architecture using what's good, bad, new. Describing the project status as, or the update that you might have, as what's going good, bad, and new. Good, bad, new. Or maybe the diagnosing. If you are using is a QBR and your primary goal, this messaging model of the situation, action, results will support you. And the other 2, you'll have to come to our class to learn what they are, of predictive and prescriptive. But I'm going to give you these now. So the good, the bad, and the new. The new doesn't mean something new. It might be a new it might be a next step or show the next steps. So the good, you're informing them. Remember, you're informing them. You're delivering data, creating awareness, sharing progress. You're showing the steps, but you're not making recommendations. You're not making recommendations. So this is all about the diagnosing project status, project updates. You're just not making recommendations. That's the GBN. It's a progress report. Good, bad, new. And the new doesn't necessarily mean new. It might be that it is a next steps or situation, action, results. You're an expert. The first one you were informing them, but this one is you're stepping up. You've diagnosed. You're a subject matter expert. You are talking about the test results. You're talking about the outcomes. You've diagnosed, you've interpreted the results and how this impacts the business. You've created an understanding, and that's what you're doing, creating understanding based around your interpretation. You're, again, not making recommendations. This does not go into the other two data sets. It's called the SAR, and it looks at the past: situation, action, results. So if you're enabling change, step number one, describe the situation or the problem. Two, ask the actions, why is it important? And then lastly, the results. How are we going to move forward? Let's watch this video now with Bill Krieger, my friend, talking us through enabling change using the situation, action, results methodology to support enable. Remember, this is your story architecture. So let's listen to Bill going through situation, action, results in his story. Yes, Artie, I definitely realized that that sound was not working as well as it could have worked. Oh, that really grips me. Anyway, thank you, Artie. I appreciate that. We will have to cut this and re-put into the recorded session, put back in that video. Situation. Explain the situation. What's the background? What's the information? What's happening within the actual project? Then go into the actions you've taken, the steps that you recommend, steps taken, and then the results: situation, action, results. Now, if you're going into a hostile environment, we recommend that you reverse this. Your story architecture should be the results first, then the action, they know the situation. So results first, action, and then explain the situation. And don't spend too much time because it's a hostile environment. One thing that we do recommend is that this could be an entire presentation structure. And you could put in metaphors, you could put in zooming, you could put in analogies, you can put in conversions to support along the way. It all depends on your goal. Keep it simple. When you keep it simple, remember what Richard Branson once said: complexity is your enemy. Any fool at all, can make something complicated. It's hard to make something easy. And what I would like for, Artie, thank you so much for coming on board. Everybody, it's great to have you on board with us. I would love for you to join us at our Presenting for Success. And you are welcome to download and go to that QR code to get more insights into this presentation, Presenting for Success in the RDS. That session, I'm going to give a 10% discount, to everybody that joins and listens here on LinkedIn. All you got to do is put in P4S, P for Papa, 4, the number 4, S 10. P4S 10. You get a 10% discount. And you're welcome. And then, what's next? I got another gift for you. What's next? Well, if you want to know more, you can use this QR code here on screen. These are how to gain actionable insights from your data analytics. 1, the 3 elements to prepare. We just talked about them there. 5 tips to unwrangling the data. The 4 messaging models. We just talked about the 4 messaging. And the 4 messaging. I'm going to give you the 4. I gave you 2 today, but if you download that, it's in an 28-page ebook. And you are very welcome. I would definitely enjoy from there. I would love to know in the chat window, what have you learned? Hey, please put in the chat window, Artie, what did you learn? You knew most of this anyway. Everybody else, I'd love to know, what have you learned? Tell us, what have you learned in the chat window? I'd love to know. What was the number 1 learning for you? What was the number 1 learning for you? Amy, I'm wondering, what was your number 1 learning?
That it's essential to convert for different groups in marketing and sales so everyone can understand in a simpler form.
I'm so happy you said that. And you've got to convert for me, because being a digital marketing specialist and me being a bit of a dinosaur in digital marketing, and thank you for everything that you did. The setup and for us to get to LinkedIn Live, this is another milestone for you and me and for the team. Gabby, who put the graphics together. Neil, Cody, I'm referencing you for your prep and walkthrough in the background. Thank you for that. But Amy, what 1 action might you be taking from the session? What 1 action will you be
Well,
taking?
as Artie just said, zoom in and zoom out to make abstract data more clear. So,
Is there any? Yeah, no, Artie, hey, we appreciate that. Zooming in, zooming out. I agree. Make it more, simplify the complexity, but we always recommend that you present to the novice, to the newbie. And don't forget, come join us for our sessions. Today we talked about, there's so many programs we're offering. This is a pitch of the programs that we're offering. Thank you, Amy, for your support on the session today. And today we talked about 1, connecting and engaging with that audience, turning your data into vibrant content, and then the fundamentals of delivering those structures. There are 4 structures that you can go to when you download that ebook from us. It's great to have you on board at this session, Corporate Data Telling, live on LinkedIn Live. Have a great day. Have a great weekend.